Hello and welcome to another episode of the AMP podcast. This is episode number 8, Time Travel with a Red One Realty Genie. The AMP podcast is an extension of the AMP platform, and online on the website you can learn a lot more about that. Just go to agentmentorshipplatform.com. I want to encourage and request you to like, subscribe, and follow us on your favorite podcast channels. Supporting sponsors for the podcast, Griffith Insurance Group, Vault Title, and Red One Realty, of course. My name is James Mentor with Buckeye Media Services. Joining me here around the table, you've got Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes, and I'm super excited about our guest today. Although she's relatively new to the marketing of real estate services and Red One Realty, I have known her for a little over 20 plus years. Spent time together in radio. In fact, I was there the very first day that she started in radio. Super successful in radio and is already off to a rocket start with what she's doing with Red One Realty. Enough said. Ladies and gentlemen, Johanna Hathaway Crosier. Welcome, and let's just kick things off with you just giving us a quick rundown of how you got to be where you are today.
Sure. I always loved real estate, and my husband Aaron and I we've have rentals, we've flipped homes, we have an Airbnb, so I've always had a passion for it. I also had a passion for radio, so that was, why I did radio for about 20 some years in sales, and I loved that, but I think as we grow older, our, passions change, and it was an opportunity where I was able to take it finally in my life and take that risk to go into real estate and partner up with my husband. And when I was researching companies and brokerages where I want to go with, I remember I talked to Ken at Red One, and it sounded all too good to be true, to be honest. I'm confused. I've interviewed a lot of other brokerages, and he was telling me all this stuff. We have, really low fees. We have this AMP program that we can help you, this agent mentoring program. We do this, we do this. I'm like, yeah, what's the catch? So it took me about a good month, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to date you, but I'm going to go shop around for a hot second. And I did, and it was the best decision that I landed at Red One, and I had the opportunity to join the AMP program, and it's been amazing.
We may or may not know this, but I was talking about you a couple of weeks ago here on the show because when I was at the basketball game, your daughter was playing basketball, and I came over here and I was sharing with Justin and Mark that what I had observed. They didn't even realize I was talking about an AMP agent at first, but then I was like, yeah, just developing a great rapport, letting that person know whenever they're ready, just give me a call. Very casual, very friendly. And I wasn't surprised. And I didn't realize until after that exchange had happened when you and I were talking about some of this early success that you've had. That doesn't surprise me. You've always been a go-getter. Tell the audience about family.
We have 2 teenagers. They are a freshman and sophomore at Westerville Central. Go Warhawks.
Yeah.
And they are our everything, and everything we do is for our kids, and I'm just blessed to be a mom.
Very good. Before we go much further, let's get the contact information out for our host, the Doctor of Real Estate, Mark Dandrea, and Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes. Justin, will let you lead the charge.
Justin Humphreys, Humphreys Homes at Red One Realty. You can reach me at 740-275-1277.
Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty. You can reach me at 614-395-6275.
Again, the AMP podcast focused on anything real estate, real life, and anything and everything in between. The AMP podcast is an extension of the AMP platform, and you can learn more about that by going online to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Now, one thing that's unique, and for everybody that listens, this is an opportunity you can connect with either Mark or Justin. If you want to go in and audit one of the training sessions with the AMP platform, get a feel for what they provide, could be very helpful, especially if you're considering getting into the industry. Or it could also be you're already in the industry and you're evaluating and wanting to go to a different broker or wanting to find out what Red One Realty offers. And like Johanna was saying earlier, is this the real deal? What's the catch? Find out for yourself. Go sit in on one of the classes. Just get a hold of Justin or Mark, and they will gladly sit down with you, talk with you, answer any questions you might have, and get you set up to sit in on one of the training sessions. And we got multiple training sessions set up every week, right, Justin?
Correct. Yeah, we have bi-monthly training sessions on Thursday, the second and fourth Thursday of the month, run by our founder and mentor, Mark Dandrea. And anybody's welcome to come sit in and audit those trainings and get a feel for what we offer in the AMP program.
And please, before I forget, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on your podcast platforms. And if you missed something on the podcast, or if you want to go on and explore for yourself, again, the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. And again, our guest today is a relatively new agent having some success. How long have you actually been with Red One Realty, Johanna?
I believe I joined at the end of April. So I think that's when I left radio and then really kind of started to do my training in May.
So a little over a year. And during that time, obviously, you mentioned that you work with your husband, Aaron. Made a transition from one career where you were very successful now into something relatively new. You're a mom, 2 teenagers at that. Learning kind of a new industry. I think you had mentioned, or we've talked before, where you had your license, you just weren't doing anything with it. Now you are, obviously. How is that transition? What's that look like over the past year? What was that adjustment like? How were you able to gauge the work-life balance? We oftentimes look at faith, family, social life, work, and play. How has that been? Has it been a challenge for you?
Yes, that is a challenge because I have to learn to say no. And my husband always says that because I'm always like, I'm available. And I think learning to say no sometimes is meaning yes for other things, which is very hard for me to do because even in my past sales career, I always super served my clients. And that's why I think I was so successful. And I love people and I love helping people. So I know how I am. When I want a response, I just like to be heard. So just even, I don't care what time it is. I usually text back and say, I'll try to do this or I'll try to get you that. So I think sometimes I might have to learn to pull that back a little bit more, but I still love it.
So I haven't mentioned you by name up until this point on any of the previous episodes. We haven't talked that much about it. Or maybe we did. I think we might have. But we're talking about some of the new agents coming through, those that have really just jumped in head first, really applied themselves, embraced the training, doing everything that all the coaches and the leaders have instructed to do outside of Justin and Mark.
Malika, Gina,
Yeah.
Dana, and Sheila.
The other leaders, we call ourselves leaders.
I was going to say leaders or supervisors
Coaches,
or trainers, mentors, obviously.
Psychiatrists.
But you had some success on the back end of last year, and you've been able to take that into this year.
Yes.
So what was your favorite? This is always something I'm always curious about. You go to so many houses. What was your favorite? You don't have to give names or anything like it, but what was your favorite client that you worked with, the house, and the process that you went through last year?
Oh, there was so many, actually.
She loves all of her clients, Jane.
I love all of my clients. I think the ones that really touch home for me, and it doesn't mean always the biggest, is when they are first-time home buyers, or some people that couldn't afford something.
Yes.
And you get to help them.
It makes you emotional.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
I love that. I love that.
I love it.
That's one of the most fulfilling parts of this job is handing the keys to a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Because it's getting more and more increasingly difficult to achieve that goal in our country. So it's a good day. It's a happy day when we're able to do that for our clients.
Yeah,
and you can see the emotion Johanna's having is genuine, and that shows that she cares about her clients.
And it never goes away, James.
Yeah.
You're humbled day after day after day.
I can imagine. Justin, when you were talking about that last week or the week before about, that process and being able to, people who are renting and being able to get them into a house that's less than what they're paying for rent, freeing up, a couple $100 a month for a family to be able to do other things to have a better quality of life. All that ties into the whole process with what you're doing. So it is life-changing for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I've received more hugs from people than I ever had in radio. So I had a girl the other day said, thank you. And another girl I get more hugs and I'm really excited to help people find a way to get into their first home, or someone who moved here from another country that was a refugee. That was really, that one was a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to help their family go through and just see them all excited to say that we finally have a place of our own and a safe place that is touching and moving, and I will do anything I can to help them.
We talk a lot about all the tools that are available through the training with AMP. For you, in terms of getting you up and running, what has been the best thing that helped you to come out of the gate strong? And in terms of the mentors that you have, I know when we're in here, they're responding back and helping people almost 24/7, it seems like.
I did one on the way here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how that process has been for you as an agent going through the AMP program and working with your mentors.
AMP is amazing. I think by the end of March so far, and I'm hoping to close some more, I'm at 20 homes closed. And I do not think I would have been here without the AMP program. Mark and Justin have been amazing. In fact, I remember when I was writing up my first offer, I was like, showing homes. And they're like, great, we'll write an offer. I'm like, yay. And I'm thinking, I have no idea even how to do this. So I remember calling Justin, and I was trying to get my kid to a baseball game, I think in Cincinnati or Cleveland at the time. So my eyeball was falling out. But it was amazing because Justin said, I got you. And he took over my screen. I brought my laptop. I found a Starbucks before while my kid was warming up. And he literally just was calm and walked me through the process, taught me, about the CMAs and things like that. And Mark, the training that I get each week from him, I'm just absorbing so much information, and he's just been so helpful. I'm confused why everyone doesn't join AMP. I mean, honestly, if you want to move your business forward and have that hands-on approach and really help clients and make money and be successful, and just AMP is the best decision I ever said. And I told my husband, I said, that's the only thing you're doing because I love you, but listen, I'll probably kill you too at the same time. So you're going to have someone else besides me.
Well, it takes a certain amount of skill to do what you did, Johanna. It's not easy to come. You had the confidence. You lacked a little bit of the technical knowledge at first, but you still had the confidence to come into a new business and just say, hey, I don't know how to do this, but we're just gonna steam ahead
and stumble forward,
and we're gonna get it done. She's a great example of that, and she's a great example of how you can use AMP to augment and accelerate your business. Because Red One's great; they have a lot of great training, but AMP, she just described great how Mark philosophically can guide you in the right direction and mentor you, and then other leaders can jump in and help with some of the more technical stuff that you need, like maybe verbiage or this and that on a contract. So she just described greatly what we're about with AMP.
I'll answer the question for Johanna. Time blocking. Johanna was used to, going into an office and having certain things to do. It was a regimented approach. It was the corporate life, and that's fine. She's very successful. When you transition into being self-employed, you have to drive yourself. And so we worked a lot with her schedule because work-life balance is very important to her. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a sister, she's got stuff going on. We all do. But to organize yourself around a schedule is critical in real estate, to be focused, regimented, and she took that on really quickly.
Talk a lot about agents building the rapport with vendors, and you're a marketer of real estate services. So much like you did in radio, where you had the ability to go to different departments, now in this industry and working with Red One and going through the AMP program and being a successful agent as you are now, those services that you're marketing out to, what are the things, and I observed this at a basketball game, but what are the things that what are the things that you are staying focused on in terms of super serving? You mentioned, and you always have been that way, super serving your clients with the services that you're offering. What are the things that come to light for you on that?
I also wouldn't be here without the help of some of the lenders I'm using. And I'm friends with them, and they have really taken me under their wing and helped me understand some of the loan processes. I know which lender is probably best for which client, which will help me get them the needs that they have. Like I just did an OFA loan and with a client of mine, and it's really going to save her a lot of money, and it's great. So really building those relationships, and then just being in the house business for a long time. I have a lot of contractors and things like that we've always worked with. So that's been helpful. So I can be a resource to my buyers and sellers. So if they need anything, I can be right there with them. And also in the AMP program, it's great. We have the circle where there's other trusted companies that we can use and refer out to them. So I always just like to be a resource for anything that they need. And I always let them know that at any time. I always tell them, like, don't hesitate to reach out. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're buying a car. I know someone. So I was helping a buyer the other day with stuff like that. So utilizing the people that I already know, and if I can be a resource to them, then I'm here.
Well, that story I kicked the show off with, while I was doing PA work, watching daughter play basketball, that exchange, that encounter I just watched, that engagement from afar, gave him the card and just like, hey, look, whenever you're ready, just reach out to me. I'll be here. If you got questions, just reach out, give me a call. It's very conversational, no sales pitch. I could tell it was a very genuine. I could tell they were responding to you in a very genuine manner and responding to how you were, your posture and all that kind of stuff. It was just fun to watch and say in my mind, like, wow, she's already transitioned into a whole different career and she's fitting right in. And it was cool to see that and knowing you. And then I came here and told them we were talking about just having conversations, being there in that moment. So when the time arises and when everything lines up and you're ready to make that move, you're going to call on the person that's been a friend to you, has answered the questions, had the conversations, just been there when you are needed. And that goes a long way.
Anything home, James.
Right.
That's what we call it on our platform. Anything home, basement to roof, anything you've got a question about, Johanna is there for you.
And I think that it's a huge thing when you can be that concierge, if you will, of anything and everything that's going to be related to real estate or homes. And you guys do that. You instill that through not just the AMP program, but I know that to be true with you, Mark, and all the years I've known you and getting to know that through Justin as well. And I can tell it's already impacting you, Johanna. So that's fantastic.
I have great leaders.
Before we go into our break, I do want to talk a little bit about the work-life balance with working side by side with a husband and the schedules. And I could not work with my wife and live under the same roof because it's just too much of being around that person. I love my wife, but I got to have a break. But I'm curious, how do you manage that? What do you guys say? Okay, for this hour, we can't talk, or how does that work for you right now?
I think it was a natural transition because we've always done real estate, not in the key sense of me being a full-time realtor. I've had my license for a long time, but always doing real estate. So I think even on our walks for the last, since 2005, 6, whatever we've been together, we've always talked real estate. Okay, now what are we going to buy here? What are we looking at here? What house we're going to flip here? So now transitioning into, we always joked about like, oh, what if we were a team as realtors? And it's crazy. We actually sometimes are like, oh my God, I think we're doing it. I think we're doing it.
Yeah.
So we are a good yin and a yang. He is my calm, where I am more not as calm sometimes. So it's good to have a balance. And I think he really balances me out. And I think I help push him in areas. So I think we are a good team for that. And I think we will continue to get better and grow better. And I think it's really good for our kids to see that we are building something and taking a risk on ourselves and our future for our family. And my son the other day was joking as he was on the phone. He's like, Johanna with Red One Realty, joking about something.
Amen.
And I said, now you're not too far away. I can get your license soon. So, but it's been a great foundation. And I think a good thing for our kids to see that you can take a risk at any age and believe in yourself and push yourself to follow those dreams and those passions that you've always had and see that mom and dad are doing it.
What, how did the timeline work? Did you guys go out and get licensed at the same time, or did Aaron first, or how did it line up?
Oh, so I decided to go take the test in 2005.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was in radio in 2005.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm exhausted after working and doing all that stuff. So then they were like, hey, 10 years later, if you don't take your test, then it'll be out. So then I was like, well, shoot, I better even go take my test. Well, then it was like, you had to find a broker. I was like, well, I'm still not ready. I don't think I can leave my job. So actually I think it was in 2015, I finally then had to go find a brokerage or do another test or something. So I've actually started taking the courses in 2005.
Wow.
That is in the classroom. So, But in 2013, Aaron decided to get his license because we were really getting into flipping homes. So I was like, hey, we're paying a realtor. We could do this. We can learn it. So he did that. So, and then I still didn't use my license when I got in 2015. But I was always there. I just, I was still figuring out radio, and I was being successful. I was number one in the country nationwide in sales for our company.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
And that was really hard to walk away from. And I think our CEO was like, what? Come back. But, radio's changing and I'm changed. And my passions have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've had this license. It's funny. My friend Christy, who's a realtor, said, I was like, what do I do? Like, what, I really like real estate. She's like, you have your license. You could try it. I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, I know, but it's commission. And she was like, you're 100% commission now, right? So it took a little convincing. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll try it and see it. And I love it. So, but she was like, you're welcome.
That's awesome.
It's the AMP podcast. On the other side of the break, we're going to see what your one wish would be if you found Jeannie's lamp. And we're also going to talk about actionable items that will help you to grow your business and find more success as a marketer of real estate services. It's the AMP podcast, sponsored by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. All part of the AMP platform. If you want more info on that, you can go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just four walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. Vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
Welcome back. It's the AMP podcast, covering everything about real estate, real life, and anything and everything in between. It is an extension of the AMP platform. If you want more information on that, you can go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. It's good for agents, people that are looking to possibly become an agent, or even home buyers that are just curious about what's going on in the industry. But in all seriousness, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, this is the podcast for you. My name is James Mentor with Buckeye Media Services. Your host every week are Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes, and our guest today, one of the students from the AMP program, and one of the new successful Red One Realty agents, Johanna Crosier. Now, today's icebreaker was inspired by one of those fake trailers for National Treasures 3 where they found Aladdin's lamp. I know they were supposed to be finding the Book of Secrets, and I thought that was going to be the third installment of National Treasure. So when I saw it was Aladdin's lamp, I'm like, yeah, it's fake. But it inspired this question. If you find Genie's lamp, you get your 3 wishes. What's that first wish or one of your first 3 wishes going to be? Going to give Johanna some time to think about it, so we're going to go Justin, then Mark, then Johanna. Guest Johanna Crosier. Justin, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Mark, and we'll save the last one for Johanna. You find the lamp. You know there's a genie. Genie pops up. You got 3 wishes. What's that first wish?
Well, my first initial thought was world peace, but I think I'm going to go with having a Starbucks right in my kitchen.
What's that football player that has the Taco Bell in the house?
That's kind of what I was envisioning in my mind. Yeah. Starbucks right in the kitchen. That's mine.
All right.
Starbucks in the kitchen.
Yeah. I just want to walk out of my bedroom and have that caramel macchiato ready for me.
One of 3?
You only get, just give me one of the 3, your first one.
I'd like to have the 1968 Shelby GT500 KR back in my garage.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you always do fine when you buy and sell classic cars, but I'd like to have that one back.
I wish you had it back just so I could take a ride in it.
Yeah. Scary fast car.
Now, was that the car in Gone in 60 Seconds that Nicolas Cage stole?
No, it's a 1967 Shelby GT500 KR. Or Shelby GT500, sorry. 67, that's the Gone in 60 Seconds car. This was the next year, 68.
What's the big difference between 67 and 68?
67 is a 428 Police Interceptor motor with dual 4 barrels. Very quick car, very cool. 68 was a 428 Cobra Jet motor, single carburetor, but certainly jacked up and a little quicker.
I'm always amazed. Weeks and weeks and weeks. This guy just knows so much about all the different things, especially when it comes to cars. All right, Johanna, what's your one wish? You get 3, but what's that the main first wish going to be?
Well, they picked more fun ones, so I was going to go serious, so I won't do that.
Whatever you want.
I would say it would be fun to have a plane so I can fly wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go. If I want to go to Italy, if I want to go to Australia, if I want to go to Europe, wherever I want to go. I think that would be fun, I think. So
I will go kind of serious on mine. I'm not going world peace there, but if I had the power to cure cancer, that'd be my main wish. That is the one thing in life that I can say I hate. I think it sucks. Horrible. And that's one of the few things I say I hate. But if I always say all the time, I mean, like, we can send people to space, we can bring them back, we can do all these wonderful things. We have to be able to fight and cure cancer. So that would be my wish, is to have the cure for cancer.
Love that.
All right, it is the AMP Podcast, the show that's everything about real estate, anything about homes, lots of stuff about life, and anything and everything in between. An extension of the AMP platform, which is exclusively available through Red One Realty. If you want full details on that, just go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Now, within the AMP platform and within the training, I don't know, there's like 20 or 25 different types of tools and resources that you guys are using for the training for the AMP agents. Our guest today, Johanna Crosier, has quickly proven what type of an impact going through that training, how fast it accelerates their knowledge of becoming a marketer of real estate services. A year into this, and yes, you had your license a while ago, but you didn't really get active until last year. But on the tail end of last year, going through this training, it really accelerated your real estate business. And you've already exceeded some of the numbers in terms of assisting others with finding their homes. So let's just take a moment. We're in a segment of the show where we talk about action steps. So these action items, action steps that happen within the AMP platform. Just want to give you a chance, Mark, to kind of elaborate on that, to walk us through a little bit of that, drive that home a little bit more. Because this clearly seems to be the special sauce that you guys have that no one else seems to have. You know, helping the agents develop soft skills, just the communication and understanding they're not going out to sell anything. They're acting as agents that are assisting people as they're marketing real estate services and help people find what they want, what they need. So, Mark, if you could highlight a little bit of that, of what that looks like inside of the AMP platform.
James, I appreciate you bringing that up again. So in our world, people have family, they have faith, even if it's in themselves, they've got a social life, and many of the agents have work outside of real estate. So if we kind of wrap in conversations into this, we're constantly out and about. We're, you could call it networking, but very frankly, we're just out and about in the world. And one of the things that's coached on this platform, and I don't even like to use that word when it comes to this because this is just human beings. We talk to people every day, and we like to help the AMP agents understand that when you're engaged with folks every day, you have to envision that everybody walks around with a sign on their chest, and it says something like, say something nice to me, make me feel better. Everybody wants to, be noticed. So in our world, we're very curious. And when we engage with people, whether you're at a birthday party or a social event or an athletic event or you're with your family or wherever you are, we're just curious. And any conversation in life is about being curious, giving information, and getting information. So as it relates to the business side of that, we want to engage with people all the time, ask questions, find out how folks are doing in life, learn a little bit about them, give them information. If it comes around to real estate, obviously we're going to do that, and then gather some information from them so we can stay in touch. Timing in real estate is not about chasing a transaction. Johanna said it earlier. She's passionate about real estate. It's not about the transaction for her. It's about connections, growing trust, communicating with people, helping them achieve their vision in real estate. It's not about us achieving our vision. It's about assisting others to achieve theirs. So one of the actionable steps is having the ability to be a curious human being and engage with others. Be curious, give some information, get some information, stay in touch. When the timing is right for that person, they'll think of you. So it's important. It sounds simple, but it is one of the most critical things next to time blocking that we coach on this platform. Justin, you had some thoughts about that.
Yeah, so today for my action plan, I was actually just going to piggyback off of your topic of conversations. And if you're struggling to find a way to get information or give information or be curious, think about one of Mark's favorite car manufacturers, Ford, right? They make the Shelby GT530 or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm just joking.
500.
I'm just joking, Mark.
There's a 350 and a 500.
Ford, right?
68.
Yeah, Ford.
Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Those are four things that you can use in any conversation to gain a useful knowledge about the people that you're talking to be curious about them and to learn about them. What's going on with their family? Hey, how's your kids are in basketball, right? How are they doing? How old are they? When does the season start? Occupation. You work at Buckeye Media Services, right? How's that going? How long have you been there? Recreation. You guys doing any vacations this summer? Got any trips planned? What kind of fun stuff are we doing this summer? Dreams in real estate. What's your goal? What's your goal for this house? Do you see yourself? Is this your forever home? Is this a starter home for you? What are your dreams? What are your expectations for this property? So when it comes to conversations, if you're struggling to get those little nuggets of knowledge that are going to help you better serve that client or stay in touch with them, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So that's my AMP action plan.
I like that. And we've talked about it over recent episodes. Not about sales, relationships. Finding a way just to be present, be in front of somebody, drop them a note just to say hi. Wish them a happy 4th of July, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. If you know their birthday, obviously wish them a happy birthday. Yeah, having a presence in their life, throughout the year. Again, for me, I always talk about 12 touch points. I think it's important to be in front of somebody once a month in some capacity. And it's intentional to some degree. I mean, if you want to have a friendship with somebody, you want to have a relationship, you're going to find a way just to say hi, check in on them. You don't hang out with somebody just waiting for them to decide they're going to go buy a car or buy a house. You genuinely just want to be engaged in that relationship. And whatever happens, you're there in that moment to help them out when the need arises.
And it's in genuineness, too. There's, we are curious people. Humanity is curious, and we should be curious about others.
So, Johanna, we've talked about this, what you saw at the basketball game, James, of Johanna talking to the basketball coach and, giving him her card and saying, "Hey, I'm here for you when you need." How did that conversation work? Here's my card, or how did that conversation go?
I knew that him and his wife were thinking about real estate and about a home, and of course, my daughter was like, "My mom's a realtor," so
Perfect.
so that there was that.
She broke the ice.
And so I've known him and his wife for a while, and so I just wanted to reach out and just extend a hand and said, "When you're ready, we're ready, and we'll be here when you're ready to walk through those steps. We're just here for you." So I think just simple conversation, and of course, Mentor just happened to be there at that time, but really we're genuine about it. Like I'm not gonna force you, or we want to be ready when you're ready, and we'll help walk you through those steps so that you are making the best purchase for what is best for you and your wife.
Yeah, that's great.
Johanna, outside of what they've talked about already, the conversations, what are things that you have found in the past year through the AMP program or the action plans that they instill inside of the training? What have you found to be some of the more successful tools and things from the AMP program?
Oh, I mean, I love it all. And I mean, I need more. I want more. I'm ready for more. I love the one-on-one approach. Like I'm a hands-on person, and I learn quicker if you show me and teach me. I'll figure it out. And if I read something, I'm more like bird, squirrel. So I have to
Want to ride bikes?
Right, yeah. So I love the fact that they really care. They take the time to those half-hour meetings. It's going through that screen share and walking me through step by step, so I can touch the MLS, so I can touch the bold trail, so that you can show me how to do the newsletter, so you can. It helps make me a better real estate agent and for my clients, and just sometimes to bounce ideas off of Mark and Justin. I feel bad because sometimes I try not to blow up their phone, but I especially just in the beginning, I was so raw at using the systems, and knowing that I had their backing, it gave me the confidence to move forward. I think, Justin, you said something about the confidence. Well, I can talk to people all day long,
Yeah.
but and I love showing homes and I like doing this, but then I was like, shoot, how do I pull a comp? How do I do this? And how do I write the offer? But they really take the time to do it, and it really has, excelled my business, and I am beyond appreciative of it.
So what Johanna is describing is the one-on-one Zooms that we offer. And, that's something that Mark is the best at, is that one-on-one Zoom and just mentoring you, walking through what you need to walk through, no matter what it is on that day that's challenging you. That was always, when I was an AMP agent, before I was an AMP leader, that was always one of the biggest values for me in AMP as well, because every transaction you run into something different, something new that you haven't experienced before. And when you've got somebody with 30 plus years of experience in the business, they've got an answer for you.
I mean, he's great. And Mark, I have a new build. And the fact that Mark took the time to come down there with my buyers and show me how I can be more of a resource and a better asset to my buyers in the future and to my buyers now was amazing. He took the time to walk me through, so I know what I'm looking for and how I can be more helpful to buyers in the new construction. That was amazing to take that kind of time to do that. And I know I'll use those in the future to help other buyers. And that's priceless to me.
Let me just try to wrap this up. So the second and fourth Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. in the training room at Red One in Westerville. That meeting is Zoomed. It's recorded. All of our agents, if they don't make it on the call or can't be in the training room, they can watch the video afterward. 4 Tuesdays a month, one of the other leaders at 6 o'clock will Zoom with the entire team and talk about another topic. 1 Saturday a month from 10 to noon, we bring in food and talk about something for a couple hours. And then we have the one-on-one Zooms with either myself or Gina at this point, and the rest of the leaders will eventually also be available. So, James, we like to say, look, if you're on the AMP platform, we're going to love you so many ways, you'll have to like one of them.
And you guys also do on Thursdays too, right? Is there
Second and fourth Thursday.
second and fourth Thursday?
4
and the second-
Tuesdays,
Okay.
a Saturday in between those 2 Thursdays, and one-on-one Zooms. And the AMP platform is on a platform called Circle, where all of our assets, documentation, videos are there, and there's a tremendous number of assets there. But we have a chat bot on that.
24/7 support on that chatbot.
Yeah.
You can log on there anytime, ask a question, and in less than a minute, a lot of times 30 seconds or less,
Yes.
1 or 2 or 3 of the leaders will jump on there. Mark and I were battling yesterday to see who
we
could,
fight each other to see who can get to the
who
answer
could get there
quickest.
first.
So it is basically, we're trying to take care of our AMP platform team members 24/7.
It is the agent mentorship platform, and right now exclusively for Red One Realty agents. Although people that are not Red One Realty agents, you guys have offered for them to come in and audit, come in and set in on a meeting just to see what that's all about. And there are some things in the works you're developing, so this is going to be hopefully available on a larger scale for people that might be outside of Red One Realty as well.
Absolutely.
So again, with the AMP podcast, we try to give you a little bit of everything about real estate, anything involving the home, a little bit about life and anything and everything in between. So that was good. Action plans. Thank you guys for that. As we move on to our next segment, this is the Agent Spotlight. We have one of those superstars with Red One Realty with us today, but there are others, many others. And this segment is sponsored by Vault Title. So for today's Agent Spotlight, I'm going to begin with Justin on who you have as your featured agent today.
Yeah, I wanted to shine a little bit of light on one of our great AMP agents, Khadijah Ghazali. Khadijah is a lot like Johanna. She's an energetic, extroverted, excellent salesperson that does great at her job and is passionate about her clients. So I work a lot with her, and I'm impressed by what she does. She does a lot of great seminars within her church and within her culture, and really helps a lot of people become homeowners. So shout out to Khadijah Ghazali as my AMP agent spotlight.
Well done, Khadijah. She
Thanks.
is very good.
And Mark?
She's really nice.
She is nice.
Yeah, she's
My agent spotlight is Michelle Shriver. Michelle was the first agent with Red One to join the agent mentorship platform on 12/16 of 2020. I think it was at 11:37 a.m. in the morning. And Michelle has been on the platform for the last 4.5 years. She's extremely good at marketing real estate services, very loyal, knows that we're there for her at any time, and she really takes care of her clients well. And what's interesting about that is that when somebody does join the agent mentorship platform, in general, they don't leave. I think they see the value. And I just wanted to shout out to Michelle. She does a great job, and she's been with us the longest.
You know, I just had the pleasure to do a transaction with Michelle.
Yeah.
And it was really wonderful to be able to, after talking to her and helping her out over the years, it's been great to actually get to do a transaction with her. And she's a prime example. I met with an agent yesterday who's thinking about getting into real estate and thinking about AMP, and they said, well, what happens? I mean, do you stay forever, or what happens once you learn everything? I said, Michelle's a great example of our agents don't leave because it's so valuable that it just doesn't make sense to.
Yeah.
Join AMP.
That is the Agent Spotlight, sponsored by Vault Title. We are lined up for another break. When we come back, we're going to ask the coach. We got some questions coming from agents in the field, and we'll cover some of those. You're listening to the AMP Podcast. The podcast, it's everything about real estate, anything about the home. We'll touch on items about life and anything and everything in between. Our sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, Red One Realty. You got the Doctor of Real Estate, Mark Dandrea, Justin Humphreys with Humphreys Homes, and our guest today, Johanna Crosier with Red One Realty. We'll be right back. It is the AMP Podcast.
Hi, guys. Today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just 4 walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's Griffithinsurance.net.
Welcome back into the AMP podcast, an extension of the AMP platform, exclusively available through Red One Realty. If there's anything that you miss on the show or you want to learn a little bit more, I encourage you to go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. And by all means, like, subscribe, and follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. If you're just tuning in to the AMP podcast for the first time, this is a podcast that deals with everything about real estate, anything about a home, lots of stuff about life, and anything and everything else in between. Host for the show, Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes, and our guest today, a Red One Realty agent, someone that has been very engaged, very involved with the AMP platform, gone through a lot of the training, and is having a tremendous amount of success in a relatively short period of time. Johanna Crosier. Now, before we jump into our next segment, which is going to be Ask the Coach, let's go ahead and share some information so that Mark and Justin, you guys can get your info out to those that are listening. You guys want to reach out to Mark and Justin, they'll make themselves available. You got questions about real estate, if you're thinking about getting into the business, or maybe you're an agent already, possibly looking to switch brokers, wanting to find out a little bit more about Red One Realty. They'll love to meet with you if you want to set up a time to come in and possibly do an audit of one of the training sessions that's available through the AMP platform. They'll gladly meet with you and coordinate any and all that. Justin, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, you can find me on all the socials, Facebook at Humphreys Homes, Instagram at Humphreys_homes.
Mark?
You can find me on Facebook at Doctor of Real Estate 1, and my email address is doctorofrealestate1@gmail.com, all spelled out.
And again, more information on the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Now, I always find this fascinating. Every week, as we get ready to do this segment, you guys are still on your phones, you're texting, people are calling you, phones are vibrating. When we have Ask the Coach, these are questions that are coming from Red One Realty agents that are out in the fields. They could be brand new, or newer than Johanna even. But Johanna, you've commented already in terms of their response, of how quickly they get back to you. During the break, we were talking about yesterday that they were in the office competing with one another on who could get the answer to the agent quicker. The average time they keep, bragging about is like 30 seconds. Clearly under 60 seconds, but closer to 30 seconds of a response time, which is impressive, very impressive. So we're going to field a few of these questions right now, share the information with you on the air. If you're a real estate agent, whether you're Red One Realty or not, maybe there's going to be something that's about to be shared that will help you in your business, and that's the intent of everything. Hopefully you find something while you're listening to the AMP podcast that helps you to grow your business, helps you become a better marketer of real estate services. Maybe you see the magic of what the AMP platform is all about. how the coaches and the leaders are working together to make sure that the team is strong, confident, and equipped with what they need so that they can be successful in their real estate businesses. So with that said, let's fire up a couple of these questions. Mark, we'll start with you, sir.
Yes. Before we get into that, James, I just want to shout out. I mean, Justin's here, I'm here, but we've got Gina Warner, Malika Smith, Dana Kitchen, Sheila Howe are our other leaders, and these guys truly do an outstanding job. Everybody that leads the team does a great job. So thanks for letting me take a minute to say that. Title commitment comes a lot, James, comes up a lot. So when you purchase a home or sell a home, a title company is involved. The title company's job is to take in all the monies, disperse all the monies, go by the contract that both the parties have executed, certainly get input from the buyer's lender, and bring all those numbers together. But one of the responsibilities is to provide an owner's title policy. That policy protects the new buyer. It's an insurance policy against any kind of claims or clouds or liens on the title that have gotten missed over the years. Those get cleaned up prior to closing. They go back up to 47 to 50 years and just make sure every time that house is transferred, it's transferred cleanly. So the title commitment comes up a lot. We have a lot of AMP agents that'll ring us up and say, hey, I got a title commitment for my buyer for this particular transaction. What's this about? And it's a lot of legalese, right? There's a couple of sections to it, Schedule A, Schedule B. There's a lot of regulations and rules and things that need to be in there. But what we focus on a title commitment is Schedule B, the exceptions. And generally the exceptions to title are things like easements. You know, a title company cannot protect a buyer from a utility company who has a right to come in and work on their utility lines. And maybe they don't put your lawn back quite in the manner that it was looking like before they did their work. You can't go back to the title company and say, hey, you know, we've got some destruction to our property. We'd like our policy to cover that. So there are certain exceptions that just make sense. But we look at those very carefully, communicate with the title company, because you're going to get another title commitment at closing. The title commitment that comes to your buyer is generally a couple weeks before closing. There's a lot of different methods out there to get those, you know, maybe 7 to 15 days after you go into contract, or certainly a couple weeks before you close. Your buying client's going to receive a copy of the title commitment. Some of the exceptions on that are going to be the taxes that are owed on the property from the previous seller. Those are always going to be there because those don't get squared away till closing. A current mortgage on the property from the person that's selling it to your buyer. That's still going to be on there when you get that initial title commitment because that doesn't get cleared up till closing. So another one is provided at closing with those things cleaned up. But we like to go through those with our buying clients so they understand what it is that they're getting provided with, which is the owner's title policy, how it protects them. So I think title commitment's important. It certainly helps our clients get a better understanding of what it is and how they're protected. And we just think that's an important piece of handling this anything home approach that the AMP agents take to this.
I think I shared this story maybe like first or second episode, that my parents, they had paid off the house. They were about to go out and get a second mortgage or refinance so that they could pull some money to pay off my sister's loans, maybe pay off cars, etc. And all of a sudden it was discovered that there was a lien on the house. It wasn't paid off. He was taking his final check in to pay it off, but it wasn't. There was monies there that were still owed. And I don't remember the full details right now, but I remember asking my dad, I was like, did you not know this ahead of time? Or did you not have a title search done or make sure everything was clean beforehand? He couldn't give me a good answer then, and I can't give you a better answer now even, but it's unfortunate. And I'm sure it happens more than it should. Surprises like that pop up where something got missed, unexpected expenses. Yeah, you just really got to double check, make sure all that stuff is taken care of properly, that all the bases are covered.
Yeah, it would be uncomfortable for somebody to walk up to your buyer's house and knock on the door and say, hey, you know, my grandfather sold this property illegally. I found it and we're suing everybody in the neighborhood. Well, you've got a policy that'll protect you against that. So that's just a weird example, but there you go.
Yeah. Justin, what do you have today?
So the Ask the Coach topic that came up this week for me was probate. How does it work? My grandfather was a probate judge for about 40 years in Jefferson County where I grew up, so I'm intimately entwined in probate and all things about it. But essentially, if this is why it's so important to have, even if you're a young, healthy individual, if you've got a family, if you've got assets, it's important to have your last will and testament written up, all your power of attorney documents, all that stuff. Because if you don't, what ends up happening is it'll go to probate. So let's say I pass away and I have assets. I have a house. I have other assets out there. I pass away and there's no will in place. Well, what's going to happen is it's going to go through the probate process, which means that an attorney and a judge is going to have to be involved, and they will ultimately make the decision of how to split up the proceeds, how to liquidate the assets, who's going to get what. So in terms of real estate, if you have a property that's going through probate, it means that a judge and or attorney is going to be involved, probably both, and that they're going to have to sign off on all the documents, and they're going to have to approve the sale. Now, they don't get too involved in the negotiation or the dollar amount. As long as it's within the range of what the market value of the property is, they usually sign it and get it and get it processed. Questions I get a lot with probate are, is this going to add extra time to the transaction? In most cases, it does, depending on where you are. So here in Franklin County, there's thousands of probate cases going on all at the same time. So if you have something that needs to go through probate in Franklin County, you're looking at 3 to 4 weeks to get that approved. So you want to get it submitted as quickly as possible, and hopefully it's ready by the time you guys are ready to close. If you're in let's say, Licking County or Fairfield or Morrow, somewhere else where it's a little bit slower, a little bit more laid back, it typically doesn't add too much time to the contract or to the timeline. But yeah, probate is a process that happens when somebody passes away and there's no will that describes what happens with their assets. So if real estate's being sold, the judge is going to come in and dictate who gets what, and they're going to have to sign off on the contract for the property to get sold.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to add to that, Mark?
Nope. Justin covered it very well.
So again, those examples there, a lot of stuff that we've talked about today, even off mic. I know, Mark, you were commenting on someone who wasn't involved in the AMP program, a Red One Realty agent that was wanting to come in. You were gracious enough to give them some of your time, but the power of being involved with the AMP platform, it empowers you in a very unique way, equips you with some additional knowledge, or really makes you zone in or become laser focused on those key elements that are so vitally important during the transactions. Making sure nothing gets missed, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, gaining that confidence so that when you're out in the field, you can proceed with certainty as you are growing your real estate business. And again, the AMP platform, it is available through Red One Realty. It's exclusively through Red One Realty for Red One Realty agents. But if you're not a Red One Realty agent, you're curious about it, you want to audit one of the training sessions, give Mark or Justin a call, or go online to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Moving on to our next segment, the Market Pulse, which is sponsored by RedOneRealty.com. We look at current interest rates, we look at the inventory in the market, and we look at average days on the market for houses being sold. Now, I always preface this segment by saying, when you listen to this podcast, it could be a week, month from now, so you just want to ask your real estate agent, your real estate professional, to provide you with some updated numbers. They've got all that information readily available, gladly to help you and share that information with you. Or you now have Mark and Justin that you can call anytime. Ask those questions if you like. Who's going first? Justin?
So for today's Market Pulse, the first thing I'll talk about is interest rates. So we did see interest rates dip down below 7% within the past week. They kind of crept back up today, though. They're at 7.04 as it stands today.
And there's about 3,500 houses on the market as of this moment, James, and we keep an eye on that.
And the average days on market is around 36 days.
And that's the Market Pulse, sponsored by Red One Realty. All right, we're up to our final break and our final segment on the other side of the break. We'll get to that with our Red One Genie. Thanks for listening to the AMP podcast, brought to you by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. The AMP podcast is an extension of the AMP platform. If you want more information on that, visit the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Don't go anywhere. Final two segments, Mindset Matters, and we're going to do some time travel with the Red One Genie. That all happens after the break.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just four walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. Vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
Welcome back into the AMP Podcast, an extension of the AMP platform, exclusively available through Red One Realty. If you want more information on that, go to the website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Every week on the AMP Podcast, we're going to talk everything real estate, whether you're buying, selling, looking to invest. We talk about anything involving the home. Could be individuals that can tell you how to best stage your home if you're getting ready to sell it. We're going to talk about life. A little bit of behind the scenes in all of our lives, some of our interests, family stuff, and anything and everything else in between. It's all part of the AMP Podcast. All right, down to our final two segments. We've got Mindset Matters, and then we're going to do some time travel with the Red One Genie. Mindset Matters, we look at faith, we look at work-life balance, we look at social life. We look at things you can do to stay focused to achieve your goals for your real estate business. And for today, we're going to let Mark kick things off for us. What do you got, sir?
Well, it's my front license plate, James, and it's anything home. So Joanna was talking about it earlier. Justin has mentioned it. I've mentioned it dozens of times, and all the other leaders and AMP platform team members focus on, for our clients, buyers or sellers or investors, family, friends, sphere, folks you meet. It's about anything home, from basement to roof. It is incumbent upon us to be real estate experts, and our clients have a lot of questions and concerns and things that are unrelated to buying or selling a home. We get questions on the good example on the property tax triennial. Every 3 years, I'll get emails and texts from clients from the past saying, hey, my property tax bill just went up, and can you help me with that? And we can. I just got something in the mail from my lender, and it's saying this or that. Can you help me with that? Sure. Shoot me a copy of it. Let's talk about it. So it truly is anything home. The contractors and vendors we deal with every day are reasonable, good folks. They're loyal. They do great work. So we have clients that'll call us and say, hey, I'm adding, a room, or I'm updating a bath or a kitchen, or I've got some repairs. Do you have anybody? And we do. So our work in real estate as it relates to assisting people with the marketing of real estate services is way bigger than just the time of a transaction. And we take that approach. It's very much a mindset. Anything home. Your client should be able to get a hold of you, anything having to do with their home, and you should be able to assist them and get an answer to them.
And we prefaced this before, but, as a person that provides marketing, and we've prefaced this before, but as a marketer of real estate services, you are in a unique position. You're going to be engaged with a lot of vendors, which I think becomes a very cool position. People are going to go to you for a number of reasons. Again, this month they might not need you for looking for a home, selling their house, none of that stuff, but they might need a roofer, might need a landscaper, might need a plumber. And if they think that you are everything home or you are engaged and know everything that goes on about real estate, you'll be one of those top 3 people that they're going to call for a need. They do that a couple of times. When it comes time to buy or sell their house, guess who they're going to call?
What was Michael J. Fox? What was that movie?
Where he was the bellhop, the concierge.
bellhop.
You got the Knicks tickets in here. I love that. I've always thought about that.
Yeah.
That if you haven't seen that movie, it's definitely worth checking out. It's got Michael J. Fox.
Okay.
He's a bellhop,
He's a concierge.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
For a
concierge.
hotel, and
But he's got
very
like
good.
tickets from the Knicks. Yeah, we got this for you. Blah 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 blah. I've always thought it was a cool position to have,
Yeah.
especially in a place like New York.
Yep. Anything home. That's the mindset.
Justin, what do you have for us today?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about support systems. I know at this table, the 3 of us, and probably you as well, James, have great support systems, whether that be at home or if you're a member of AMP, the leadership can be your support system, or a friend, a colleague, whatever that looks like. I know that when I'm at home, I have a great support system with my partner, Ashley. She listens to the conversations that I have on the phone. She knows what I'm doing. We check in with each other. I support her. She's in nursing school. She supports me with ideas and things that I'm working on. I know the same, Johanna and Aaron obviously are in the same industry, so they're going to be an incredible support system for each other. Someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to talk things through with. That helps a lot. And I know Mark's wife is the best unlicensed real estate agent in the state of Ohio.
That's exactly right.
Shout out to Aaron. I think support systems are important, even if it's just to vent to somebody or talk through a situation or get advice, whatever that is. So find a support system, somebody you can lean on when you're debating something or weighing something or need a little bit of help. So
That's a great point.
That's my mindset.
I think that's great. And I can imagine, Erin, again, being unlicensed, but she's been around you forever, obviously, and heard all the stories and seen everything that goes on. But I would think for 2 people that are licensed, that are working and doing a lot of the same things on a daily basis, I'm sure you, Joe, and you and Aaron, you guys bounce stuff off dinner table all the time. Again, what I kind of said early on, how do you turn that off? How do you separate that? Because I would be in that conversation at every time, like, so I'm really frustrated by this, or did you hear what I did? And then it never turns off. That would be a challenge for me. How do you navigate through that?
I think we enjoy it overall.
Okay.
So I think with my husband, Aaron, and it's, I know Mark's wife's Aaron, so don't want to get him confused. So my Aaron, it is hard to turn off but it is also very nice because I think it brings us closer because we have a commonality where even though we're different, how we work, it brings us together more. We can stay focused. And I love that we're a part of the team. And I love that we can say, hey, can I have your eyesight on this? Hey, what about this? And I can't wait to see where we go with it. And I'm excited.
And I think that it's a cultural thing with Red One. I mean, Matt and Michelle Brooks. Michelle Brooks is one of our brokers. She and her husband have been in the real estate business for years. Great team. When you see Ken Fairchild, you'll see Samantha, his significant other. When you see Mike Hall, you'll see Heather Hall, his wife. That's cultural with Red One. These are folks that support each other. They're all engaged and involved in the business, and that just flows down to the agent mentorship platform and all the other Red One agents who entrust Red One to guide them through their real estate business.
Yeah, Red One and AMP, it really is like a family. And for me, it literally is family. Ashley's mom is a Red One agent. She's my original mentor that got me in the business. And she is on the AMP team as well. So it literally is a family matter in a lot of these ways. And we talk so much. We kind of become like family. We talk so much on such a regular basis that it's like talking to a family member. So we love that environment, that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, that closes out Mindset Matters as we get set for our final segment, which is a fun segment. It's going to be our time-traveling Red One Genie. We started off the show with a lamp and making your one guess. Well, now you get to do a time travel anywhere in the world for 1 hour in the past, nothing in the future. Where would you go for 1 hour in the past? I'm going to go Mark, then Justin, then Johanna, and then I'll finish up.
James, that's a great question, and I've thought about it, and I would like to go back to Elmore Avenue, the house that I grew up in initially, and I would like to chat with my mom for an hour. She passed away, and I'd like to just, knowing what I know now, what's transpired between her death and today, talk to her for an hour. My mom was just an unbelievable angel who walked the earth. My father also passed away, and he was certainly an outstanding person, but I would like to talk to my mom for about an hour. We'd solve all the world's problems, I guarantee it.
Justin?
Oh, this was a tough one for me. Dang, Mark, you're going to make me cry for a second time in this episode. I'm caught between two. I would either go back to see Muhammad Ali defeat George Foreman at the Thrilla in Manila, or I would go back to see what really happened at Dealey Plaza in 1963 when JFK got shot.
Ooh.
And one of those two, you can pick. But those would be my A1, 1A, and 1B.
All right.
We might be learning more about the JFK thing.
Yeah,
I
didn't want to say
JFK.
it. I didn't want to say it, but we might figure that out soon.
I'd love to know that.
Yeah, there's a lot more than just JFK. It looks like.
Oh my God,
that's for
right.
sure.
we will find out very soon, I think.
I'm in a similar situation with Mark. I would go back and I would love to have an hour with my grandma Hathaway. She was an extremely smart businesswoman when businesswomen weren't even there. She owned a couple nursing homes and took the leap of faith and killed it and crushed it. And I remember when she was on her deathbed, she's like, whatever you do. I said, Mom, Grandma, what's your biggest regret? She said, I worked too hard. Take time to be with your family. So, but I'd like to go back and, she was a pretty smart lady. And, I'd like to have an hour with her.
Yeah. Take time to breathe. So important.
Take time to breathe.
Ironically, for me, I would go back to my grandfather. My grandfather had a worm farm. He started with a TV repair shop.
First time he said that, I did a worm
Wait, isn't
farm.
that like on Dumb and Dumber? Or was that a worm thing? Or what was that? No.
That sounds familiar.
Did he have a worm?
I don't
Worm
remember.
farm.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
worm farm. But yeah, so
Okay.
he had a TV repair shop, and then after retirement, he went into the worm business, and I
Okay.
found so much stuff out. But to your point, like your grandmother, like back then, we didn't have cell phones and all this stuff. Even fax machines then weren't really what they are. This was going back to the early 80s, and what he was able to build. I mean, he started with $3.95 ads in Field and Stream, and we saw the books after he passed, and the money that went into it was over $1 million. He always told us, he said, if I had to do it all over again, I would do things differently. And he outlined what he would do differently. But his knowledge and the foresight to be able to see that, I get all that, the entrepreneurial spirit all comes from him. And I wish I was mature enough then to have that conversation now where I am like,
Yes.
Grandpa, what was it that you saw? How did you, that paradigm shift that you're always wanting to be ahead of?
Yeah.
He was way ahead of it. Because if you look in Field and Stream and all that, there's people, they not only have worm farms, now there's worm excrement for fertilization. That's the big thing now.
Now I'm going to go Google that, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, before we close the door, we've got our quote of the week. And I was drawn to this one because we've been talking a lot about being that marketer of real estate services. We were talking earlier about concierge type stuff, but when you're in a position being a real estate professional, being that individual that everybody looks to because you have that sphere of influence, those people that as it relates to anything home. So I was drawn to this one. I'll give you guys a hint. Initials are AE. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value.
Albert Einstein.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that guy.
Good one.
Look at that guy. I gave too much away, didn't I?
There's not too many AEs out there.
This is why he's a mentor.
I don't know that quote is familiar. I'm not sure I would have pulled it out of the synopsis, but yeah, that's definitely Albert Einstein.
It is indeed Albert Einstein.
Yeah. Good stuff, James.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Johanna, thank you so much. Great seeing you again.
Thanks, Johanna.
It is the AMP podcast. Our sponsors, want to thank them one more time. Red One Realty. We have Griffith Insurance. We have Vault Title. And if you like more information about the AMP podcast and anything regarding AMP, you can go to the Agent Mentorship Platform website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. And again, one more time before we go out, gentlemen, give your contact information, and you're available to meet with people if they want at the Westerville office. So throw that in there somewhere about where that might be.
Yeah, just Justin Humphreys, Humphreys Homes, AMP leader. You can just reach out to me on my cell phone, 740-275-1277, text or call. And you can find us on, you just said it, agentmentorshipplatform.com, or just come see us, 921 East Wind Drive, suite number 102. We're there Monday through Friday, usually from 10 to 4 p.m. So pop in, say hi if you want. Take a tour of the office.
I'm there on Sundays as well, so we're available to you. Mark Dandrea, 614-395-6275. And James, I happen to be meeting with an agent who is getting their license today. We're either going to Zoom or meet at the office or wherever they'd like to meet. So we're available to meet people when it's convenient for them and chat to them about real estate.
Johanna, thank you so much for coming. Good seeing you again. Until next time, it is the AMP Podcast.